Okay, so the topics we'll be covering in batch management. We'll see what is batch management. Okay, how to activate batch management, what are the levels of uniqueness in the batch. Okay, how to create batches in production planning module. Okay, how to create batches automatically in production planning in the production order or process order, how to assign the batch number, what are the different methods of assigning the batch number. Okay, we'll see batch master record, what is the data maintained in the batch master record. Then we will understand batch classification, what is batch classification, how it is set up, we'll understand. Then we'll see shelf life expiry date, how to calculate shelf life expiry date in the SAP system in the batches. So these are the topics we'll be covering today. Okay, so what is batch management? So what is basically a batch? Okay, so batch is basically a subset of the total quantity of a material held in stock. Okay, so batch is basically, it's a lot kind of thing. It's a lot. Okay, it's the quantity of a material which is managed separately from the other quantities of the same material. Okay, other quantities of the same material. Suppose let's say you have a material. Okay, this material every day you are producing. The quantity which you produce on a particular day, you will identify with a batch. Okay, normally, normal scenario. Okay, so next day you are producing some some other quantity that you identified with a different batch number. Basically, the batch is used to identify the stocks of a particular material, to differentiate it from other stocks of the same material. Your material will be same, but the batches will be different. It's basically for identification. Okay, which quantity is produced on which date, on which time. Okay, so that is the batch. Okay, so the quantity of material produced during a given production run. Okay, so that is what is called batch. So the batch represents non-reproducible and homogeneous unit with unique specifications. So every batch, even though material is same, every batch might have different properties. Okay, so to identify the stocks, what you will do is you will be using batch management. Okay, so normally if you go to a pharmacy or a medical shop, when you purchase medicines, tablets or capsules, what you will see on the strips, you will see a batch number. Under the batch number, you will be able to see a manufacturing date and expiry date. So that is basically for identification, on which date that batch is produced. Okay, so that is the batch number. Okay, so this one, the batch is a partial quantity of a material which is managed separately from other quantities of the same material. Okay, so batch is like a production lot. Okay, so the main characteristics of the batch are homogeneity and non-reproducibility. Okay, so batch management is used in all areas of logistics, right from purchasing to your sales. It is used in nowadays all the areas of the logistics supply chain. Okay, so starting from purchasing, quality, production, then your sales, it is used in all the areas. So now what is the need for batch management? Why need batch management? So batch management need is for legal requirements, okay, and then your defect tracing. Suppose let's say you received a market complaint for a particular material, then how you will identify on which date that particular stock which got market complaint. So that you will do through batch, identify with batch. So it is used for defect tracing, callback activities and regression requirement. Okay, so sometimes in some industries you need a quantity and value based inventory management. So for that you will be using batch management. Okay, and the other one is production or procedural requirements, like your FDA or your regulatory requirements. Okay, so these are the needs for which you activate batch management in your system. Okay, so you go for batch management. Okay, so now as I explained earlier, nowadays batch management is used in all the areas of the supply chain cycle. Like you use in procurement. When you are purchasing the materials, when you receive the materials, you will enter a batch number. So the identification, this particular material, this batch, when it is received, from which vendor, Okay, on which date. So to identify that, you use batch management in procurement, and you use batch management in QM, quality management. Okay, and then you use batch management in production. When you are producing the product, you identify them with batches. Okay, and then when you are selling the product to the customer in your SD, you will use batch management. It means which product, which batch, which has been sold to which customer. So to find identification, you will be using batch management in sales and distribution. So nowadays the batch management is used in all the areas of the supply chain, entire supply chain, starting from procurement to your sales to the customer. Okay, so this is a batch management. Now, so basically to identify which stock, which batch, which has used where, which has been sold, which batch has been sold to which customer. So to identify that, you'll be using batch management. Okay, so now how you will activate batch management. Okay, so for a particular material, if you want to activate batch management, normally the batch management requirement is activated in the material master. So it can be done at material level. So for a particular material, if you want to maintain the stocks in batches, then in the material master you will be activating the batch management indicator. Okay, so you will be doing that in the material master record. Okay, so that is what the batch management activation in the material master. I'll show you that, then we'll move on further. So if you log on to the system, okay, so I'm creating a material. Or let me create a raw material. Okay, so when I'm creating the material, I'm selecting the required views. Okay, plant 1000. Okay, 7 batch management. I'm giving the description, liters, material group, enter. So batch management, you can activate it 3 places. Okay, so I'll note on the in which views you can activate batch management. You can activate it purchasing view, okay, and then your work scheduling view, okay, work scheduling view, and then you can activate it plan data storage one view, storage one view. So you can activate it these 3 places, 3 views. So suppose if you see here, there is an indicator called batch management. Are you able to see? So you can activate here. If you want to manage this material in batches, then you have to activate this indicator, batch management. Okay. Both same, right? Okay, enter. Okay. One more thing is you can activate in plan data storage one view. Okay, here you are able to see there is one more indicator is there, batch management. You can activate here, and another view is work scheduling view. In case of finished product, semi-finished product, you maintain work scheduling view. There also you have the indicator batch management. So batch management indicator can be activated in these 3 views: purchasing view, work scheduling view, or you can activate in plan data storage one view. Now the thing is, if you activate in any one of these views, automatically it will reflect in other views. Suppose if I activate in purchasing view, it will automatically getting reflected in plan data storage one view. Okay, so the thing you need to understand here is, if you maintain batch management indicator in any one of these views, automatically it will get reflected in other views. So you can activate batch management in purchasing, work scheduling view, purchasing view, and the work scheduling view, okay, or in plan data storage one. Okay, so that's what you will be activating the batch management. I'll complete the creation of this material master. Okay. Okay, done. Okay, so I'm saving this material. Okay, so this is your material. Okay, so this is how you activate batch management for a particular material. So it can be done at material level. Okay, it can be done at material level. Okay, so now what are the levels of batch numbering in the system? So you have three levels of batch numbering. Okay, three levels of batch numbering in the system. One is at client level, another one is at material level, another one is at plant level. There are three types of unique batch numbering. These are called levels. Okay, so what is client level? Client level means in your entire system your batch number will be unique. That means your batch number cannot be repeated again. Suppose for one material you assigned one batch number, let's say I assigned XYZ, then that XYZ cannot repeat, you cannot repeat in the entire system again. So it's entire at the client level, it is unique. Okay, so you will be using one batch number only once. That's all. That batch number cannot be used again in the entire system. That is called client level. Okay, now the next one is the material level. Okay, that means your batch numbering is defined at material level. That means if you see here, the material Y300 is having a batch 1. Now the same batch number you can assign to some other material by P300. So the same batch number is assigned to different material. That means the batch numbering is at material level. Okay, now the third one is batch number is at plant level. You call it as a plant level, but it is basically plant and material combination. So if you see this material Y300 in the plant 1, it is having the batch number 1. Now same batch number you can assign to the same material in another plant, you can assign it. Okay, now same batch 1 you can assign to a different material with different plant in another plant. So the batch numbering is at material and plant combination. Okay, so you have three levels: client level, material level, and then plant level. So plant level is basically nothing but plant and material combination. Okay, your interview question. Okay, what is the level of batch number in your particular client? Will ask. So you need to explain the as per the level you maintain in your client. Okay, now where you will maintain these levels of uniqueness of batch? This we will be maintaining in the configuration. Okay, so if you go to the configuration, just 1 minute. Okay, will this be there? So if you go to configuration, okay, go to configuration, SPRO, okay, SAP reference IMG. Okay, so you go to now logistics general. Okay, go to batch management. Okay, here you are able to see specify batch level and activate status management. So if you go here, see the batch level, first button. So if you go there, see there are three levels are there: plant level, material level, client level. Three levels are there. Now you will activate which one you want, and this normally done during the initial stages, not every day or not regularly. You will be doing this in the initial stages for the first time. You as a consultant, you sit with your client, and then both mutually understand, decide, and then accordingly you maintain this. Now standard SAP normally comes with material level. Okay, standard SAP, when they provide you the batch level at material level. Now it is up to you the which one to use, whether you want to go for plant level or whether you want to go for client level. You will be changing accordingly, but normally standard SAP comes with material level. So here you will activate your batch level. Okay, now Now the batch creation. How to create the batches? Okay, so there are two methods of creation of batches. One is automatic. Okay, next one is manual. Okay, if you want to create batches manually, the transaction codes are MSC1N. This is MSC MSC1N. This is the transaction code of creation. Change MSC2N and then display MSC3N. This is how you create batches manually. Now automatic when you do some transactions in your logistics area, like when you receive the material, when you are creating the production order. So when you do that kind of activities, batches can be created automatically. Okay, automatically. So now we will see the manual ones. Then when we do some activities, that time we will be generating batches automatically. So the transaction code to create batch manually is MSC1N. Okay, so let's do it. I'll open one more session. Okay, so go to transaction MSC1N. Create batch. Enter your material number. Enter your plant 1000. Enter. So system is saying caution, internal number allocation for materials handled in batches. So internal numbering is allocated. I'll show you that numbering. First let's save this. Click on yes. So system is assigning the batch number. Okay, so this is the transaction MSC1N. So you will have some data maintained in the batches: basic data 1 tab, basic data 2 tab, classification, and then material data. We'll come to this. We'll discuss this in the batch master record. What is this data and all? Okay, so this is how you create a batch number, and this is the batch number. Okay, and then I'm saving this batch number. Okay, so your batch number got saved. After creating the batch number, if you want to make some changes, you can go to change mode. The transaction code is MSC2N. Here you go, and wherever you want to make some changes, you can make the changes. And then display, you go to display, and then you will be able to see the data. Okay, so this is how you will be creating the batches manually. Okay, so now how to create batches in the our PP production orders. Okay, how to create the batches in our PP area. Okay, how to create the batches in our production order. Okay, so production order, when you are creating the batches, when you are creating the production order, let's say, so when you are creating the production order, you can create the batches. One is manually, okay, another one is automatically. Okay, again you have two options. Either you can create it manually or automatically. Now you can create them at various stages, like during creation, production order creation, or during release stage. Manual one. Okay, manual one you can create either during creation, okay, or during release. These things you can do it in the system. So I'll show you that. So let's take one of the finished product in the system. Okay, so this is one of the finished product which is already there in the system. So what I will do is I'll take this. When I'm creating the production order, suppose let's say I'm creating the production order CO01. Okay, enter the finished product, enter the plant, and enter the order type. So when I'm creating it, you assign your batch number. You assign the batch number in the goods receipt tab. You will be assigning your batch number in the goods receipt tab. Okay, so now here you can create the batch during order creation. So now I'm creating the order. That time you can click on this button, create batch. So if you click on this batch, system will be assigning the batch number over here. So you will be clicking on this batch button, but create batch button. So once you click, material is not handled in batches. Okay, Wait just 1 minute. Okay, and then just give me 1 minute. What was the material we created? Just 1 minute. Okay, saving this. Okay, so this is the material. Now I'll create BOM for this. Okay, to create the production order we need BOM, right? So let me create the BOM. Okay, and then I'll create the routing. Okay, so these are the BOM. So now when I'm creating the production order, okay, so when I'm creating the production order, you can create the batch at 2 stages. One is during order creation, MRP data for material is not maintained. Already maintained, right? Okay, so now when you're creating the production order, what is the unit of measure later? So 0.02, just 1 minute. Base unit of measure cannot be changed. Okay, let's continue with that only. Okay, so now when I'm creating the production order, okay, so if you go to the goods receipt tab, so here the batch number is coming automatically, of course, but if the normally the batch number will be empty. So if you want to create the batch here, you'll be clicking the batch number, this button, create batch. Then system will assign the batch number over here. So this is how you create manually in the system. Okay, you create manually the batch number in the production order. That you can do it at order creation. That is order creation. Okay, or you can do during order release. Let's say I'll create one more production order. Okay, so I'm removing this. So now I'm saving the production order. Now during the creation, I'm not assigning the batch number. Okay, so now I'm saving this. Okay, so order is created. Now what happens is you go to change mode. When you are releasing the order, you can assign the batch number. So after releasing also you can assign. Okay, so when you release the order, then you can assign the batch number over here. So you can do it both stages. Either you can do during creation or you can do release. So this is how manually. So for manual, you need to click on this button, create batch button. Okay, so that is how you do manual creation of batches in the production order. Now the another method is to create automatically the batches in the production order. Okay, this you do through production scheduling profile. So I'll show you that. So you need to go to configuration. So go to configuration. Okay, so go to our production, okay, go to shop floor control, okay, just 1 minute. So here you go to master data. Here you are able to see define production scheduling profile. So you click on this. Okay, so you go to your plant. Our plant is 1000. Okay, so go to production scheduling profile. This we discussed in our previous classes. So when you go to production scheduling profile, there will be indicator. Okay, so if you scroll down, there is an indicator, automatic batch creation in the order. Are you able to see? There is a batch management subscreen is there. In that you have an indicator called automatic batch creation in the order. So here you can set whether you want system to generate automatic batch during order creation or order release, at what stage you want, or you don't want any automatic batch creation, then you will make it blank. Okay, so now I'm what is maintained over here, now I'm maintaining it as 1. Now I'm maintaining it as 1. Okay, that means during order creation, now what I'll do is I'll save this production scheduling profile. Okay, this production scheduling profile you need to assign to the header product, your header material, your product which you are going to produce. So let's go to the material master. Let's go to the material master of it, /mm02. Go to work scheduling view. Okay, plan 1000. So here there is a production scheduling profile is there. Are you able to see? There is a production scheduling profile is there. So if you go to this production scheduling profile, okay, so here the one which we maintain indicator is this production scheduling profile. So you assign this production scheduling profile over here. Okay, over here, and then you save it. So once you do these settings, now system will create the batch number during order creation itself. So when I'm trying to produce the create the order CO01, enter. Okay, so if you go to goods receipt, see the batch number has come automatically. So during the order creation itself it will come. Okay, so this is how you do it at order creation. Suppose now you want this during order release stage, you want to come batch number, you want to generate batch number automatically, then there you have to change automatically during the order change, order release. Okay, let me make some other settings. Somebody has changed the settings. Just give me 1 minute. Huh? What is our plant? Plant is 1000, right? Just 1 minute. Huh?